Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, what qualities does your secret admirer find most compelling about you? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the clear quartz heart. Group 2 is the rose quartz heart. And group 3 is the Amazonite heart. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the clear quartz heart. So let's see, what qualities does your secret admirer feel are the most compelling about you? Okay, we have creating personal space, offering my gifts, faith, humanity, benevolence, stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others, see the light in the world, Mahavatar Babaji, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. Messages in the numbers 1111. And wisdom of the divine feminine. So it feels that your secret admirer may be noticing a lot of signs and synchronicities related to you. Maybe you're even somebody who responds to signs and synchronicities, speaks of these things, has spoken of these things to this secret admirer, or in some way they seem to interpret that you are guided by such things, you're open to such things, maybe even open to spirituality in general, which could be something that's a very attractive quality about you for your secret admirer. It feels that they see you as very intuitive individual. Whether or not you've spoken about this directly, it's kind of giving the energies here that this might be somebody who you already know who this person is. It could be kind of like a mutual crush situation, somebody that you interact with, or somebody that is able to sort of witness you kind of going about your day, but in a more of an intimate sense than, say just an admirer from afar. So somebody that has kind of access to more of your inner thoughts, inner workings, more of sort of like the personal and less kind of work-oriented day-to-day reality, or maybe you do work in kind of a spiritually based business. And so if that's the case, even the essence of that might be something that this person finds very attractive about you, very compelling about you. They see you as somebody who is very in touch with their emotions as well, which it feels like helps this individual to feel very safe with the idea of opening up, expressing their feelings to you, making movement towards you. A sense that you may come across as well as a very compassionate person. This can be in terms of how they've observed you dealing with other people, how you've dealt with them up to this point in time, especially if this is someone that's been like holding back on expressing feelings. There may be a lot of kind of unspoken tension between you and this individual, and it feels that the time and space you are allowing them to kind of reach the point where they're ready to express themselves without putting pressure on them is something that they find very attractive, very compelling compelling, something that's allowing them to kind of expand out beyond any, it feels like, guardedness, wounding from the past, into kind of a readiness to open up to love, to open up to romance, to open up to the exploration of potential between the two of you. It feels that they also understand or see or are witnessing in some manner maybe where you're at in your own kind of like personal journey or your life journey, where you're not just remaining within a comfort zone, but you're making efforts to kind of step beyond that in certain ways. So to better yourself, further your knowledge and understanding, maybe you're going through some sort of like an ascension, a glow up, a metamorphosis, that might be something you're talking about directly, or it's just very apparent within your energy or the way that you're presenting yourself. And so even if this person has like limited knowledge of the inner workings of what is involved in that process, they're seeing the tangible results in terms of how you relate to them, or again, like how you're presenting yourself, what your focus is on. And that feels to be something that is encouraging them not only to sort of see you as someone that might be a very viable romantic partner for them, but it feels that it also inspires them along some sort of similar or even dissimilar, but kind of related in the sense of like a spiritual journey or a spiritual path that they have been on themselves, to continue to explore that, to continue to grow and evolve in accordance with like higher guidance or signs and synchronicities that they're getting, to kind of trust in the process, sort of looking to you as a way shower or a guide, or even just kind of emulating the fact that you're leaning into this expansion, you're leaning into this metamorphosis rather than resisting or kind of putting up blocks. You seem to be going with the flow of it, which it feels like encourages them to follow suit in their own way, and however that's manifesting for them in their life. And also in terms of as it comes to sort of leaning deeply into this place within themselves where feelings or an interest or an attraction towards you has germinated within. And rather than kind of stuffing, suppressing, or denying that, trying to stifle it or run, there's an essence here of just allowing that to kind of take on a very organic shape and form that is something that they're allowing to bloom even more deeply from within themselves. The idea of offering my gifts can again speak about if you have like a spiritually based business, anything that you've shared with this person, as far as like spiritual knowledge, exchange of information, even just mundane routine conversation that you could have with them, or being in your presence, being near you, any ways in which you're interacting with them. They find this to be a very nourishing experience. It's something where it feels like they feel seen and appreciated for who they are. There's reciprocity on some level. So again, kind of a confirmation here that this might not be such a secret admirer, although you might not have reached the point where you're kind of like outwardly discussing those feelings. It feels to be something that you're both kind of aware that there's something more in the situation. It's just kind of yet to be articulated. And so that in and of itself can really speak to kind of a gift within you of like empathy, or some degree of kind of, to tie back in with this energy of the wisdom of the divine feminine, some essence here of that you can kind of sense this person's hesitation or things that they may be working through, things even in their interpersonal life that are unrelated to the potential of a connection between the two of you, unrelated to the nature of their emotions, that you're allowing them to have that kind of time and space without really sort of backing them into a corner or putting any pressure on them to perform in a particular manner, which it feels like is very, very liberating and very encouraging for this individual to move eventually and at their own pace out of a place where these feelings or this interest or this attraction or this perception of connection with you is just secreted away into something that they're willing to articulate and bring forth. This can also, relate to the ways in terms of that they've seen you interacting with others, maybe in the course of your profession, in the course of your work, or even just in how you deal with people on like a day-to-day basis. They see you as somebody, as well with this idea of like humanity and benevolence, that you're a very kind person. You lead from the heart space. You're not somebody that has a lot of hidden motives or like a sneaky sort of energy, that there's something very genuine about you, which again kind of encourages this person to lean into the place of allowing the feelings that have developed for you, or the attraction that is developed towards you, to kind of take on a life of its own and be brought forth from where it's sort of hidden inside at this point. The idea with creating personal space ties in again with this element of some kind of like metamorphosis or ascension that you might be going through, even just the life that you're living in general that you've carved out for yourself. They're very excited by that. It's something that they resonate very deeply with. It may align with the life that they're living or that they're trying to create for themselves as well. Just kind of your habits, your routines, how you're presenting yourself, what your focus is, all of it. It feels like in a lot of ways you're the full package for this person. You may be the type of person that they've been seeking for quite some time, almost the essence of kind of like become the love that you're seeking, and whatever it is that you've become or you're in the process of becoming, it feels like this person senses or sees it aligns very deeply with what they've been endeavoring of their own accord kind of prior to coming into contact with you. And so there's a sense of wanting to kind of create more unification within that, and a sense of almost feeling that they're not needing to sort of walk their path in life alone. The idea here as well with creating personal space is that they are very compelled and attracted by a degree of boundaries that you have within yourself, kind of an air of mystery, where as much as there may be intimacy and openness and exchange between the two of you, there's still a lot that remains kind of hidden or that is still to be discovered. As much as you're like an open person, you're not somebody that's just going to like info dump or overshare. You have a degree of self-respect and self-love where it's almost a valuing of reciprocity. People have to earn that privilege to kind of get inside that sacred space, that inner circle within your life, which it feels is a very attractive quality as far as this person is concerned. That's kind of it's encouraging them to sort of continue to go through that process of expansion within themselves until they get to that place of readiness where it feels like quite likely that this person will express feelings. Quite likely, again, there's already like a sexual chemistry or tension between the two of you, something on an energetic sense that kind of it just has yet to be spoken out loud. And so this feels like somebody that is very much kind of leaning into that space of not fighting these feelings, but wanting to express, wanting to explore, wanting to move out of a place of secrecy into a place of transparency and openness. So I'm going to get a few messages from this person's higher self, and then I'll close the reading out with some initials. Okay, and they say, I'm done pretending. So there's that confirmation that this person intends on not just remaining a secret admirer, not just keeping their feelings hidden or suppressed, but it feels like they're in the planning and preparation stages to make that move towards you, to bring out into the open what is kind of hidden in the background of the current or exchange between the two of you. And they also say, seeing you makes my day. So it feels like your energy, your presence, even the idea of you just really lights this person up. You bring out the best in this person, which it feels like is something that is usually not very easily accomplished. This might be somebody who themselves has had to work to kind of create good boundaries. They may be very empathic themselves, are used to kind of attracting takers into their life, and so they may have really been working to sort of protect that personal space, be very sort of selective as far as how much they're giving of their own energy versus how much is sort of received in return. And there's a sense with you that there's almost just a very natural quality to giving and taking that is taking place, energetically speaking, that it feels like is reassuring this person that it's safe, it's within kind of their highest good to continue to expand beyond kind of those boundaries of necessity into a place of openness and flow. They also say, I hide my true desires for you. So very fitting considering it's a secret admirer reading. But this is again like a confirmation that they're not wanting to continue to keep these desires hidden. They're not somebody who's just going to kind of let the chance with you pass them by or remain in kind of this liminal space for very long. So it feels like they're gearing up to announce themselves, to make their intentions known, to really explore kind of that romantic potential between the two of you. They also say, how I wish I could hold you tonight. So another confirmation of kind of reaching out, coming out of a place where they're just sort of hiding these desires for you, and it feels like on the brink of, maybe asking you out or starting to shift the nature of your conversations towards things of a more emotional nature. So there's not so much that's needing to be read between the lines, but it's all kind of out on the table. They also say, I need to see you. So this feels like something where now this person, kind of the essence of what you bring forth from within them, the fact that you really light them up inside. If they'd been a little bit standoffish or had maybe needed to vet the situation out, perhaps based on what they've been through in their past, or like a tendency within them to love deep, to love completely, to open themselves up, for better or worse in previous sort of situations that it feels like they've really learned from, they've really kind of created a better structure for themselves in that capacity. You have successfully sort of gone through the gauntlet of little tests that they may have had, or just time that they've needed to sort of take to feel into who you are, get to experience you on a certain level that has now kind of brought them to the point of the idea of transcending beyond that. Is very exciting, it's very compelling, and it's something that it feels like their higher self is even on board, as well as their heart being fully on board with kind of the idea of taking things to the next level. They also say, you are the one and only. So this is somebody who is very much focused on you, very fixated on the idea of exploring this situation. You're not just an option out of many. This isn't somebody who's kind of just looking for the best deal that can come along and, sifting through a lot of options, or, interviewing potential candidates, romantically speaking, or even in terms of like who they're exchanging energy with. So maybe somebody who's just a very loyal person, very exclusive by nature. That might also be something that has necessitated them kind of strengthening their personal boundaries, to be a little cautious about sort of who they give their heart to, who they open up with emotionally, and you really fit kind of the requirements of what it is they're looking for, the things that they know that they need and they want in their life that kind of align with them emotionally, that align with them spiritually. Physically, it feels like there's a lot of perhaps mutual attraction between the two of you, a sense that all the signs point to moving this situation forward, or this person kind of speaking up about the nature of what they feel inside. So these initials can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got H, W, A, V, X, N, P, G, I, U, Z, S, B, P, G, Y, V, E, and H. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. Chose the rose quartz. So let's see, what qualities does your secret admirer feel are the most compelling about you? sign, we have accepting the past, establishing emotional boundaries, Dwal Kul, Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. Joan of Arc, voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. Spiritual service. And Dark Night of the Soul. So you may be in the midst of the dark night of the dark night of the soul, the dark night of the soul. You've come out of this. You may be on an ascension journey, kind of focused on your spirituality, or have undergone some kind of profound transformation and change. Maybe this is a secret admirer that has like witnessed this unfold, sort of knew the before and after version of you, and what they are seeing now, either in the midst of how you are handling the process of transformation with grace and with trust, or who you have become in the aftermath of a process of metamorphosis, it feels like has changed this person's view of you in a very positive way and has inspired them to start to trust in the process of what may be kind of a concurrent spiritual journey that they're on. This can speak almost about like a secret admirer that's a soulmate or a soul connection, somebody that's even kind of like part of your soul tribe or soul family, that is very much drawn to your light, very much drawn to who you are as a person, or like the experience of you, or maybe even somebody from your past that you could have had romance with, maybe you didn't have romance with, that has kind of like, again, watched sort of a transformation unfold within you, or may have even kind of knew the before version of you, and sort of they have been aligned with, or have kind of been shown this changed version of you, and it has opened their eyes very profoundly to things that they might have even been fearing within themselves, as far as like spirituality itself is concerned, the process of allowing themselves to transform and change and kind of up level and evolve into a next best or better version of themselves, to where it's almost like they may see you as well as some kind of like a teacher or a guide. Maybe this is something where what you were focused on before, what you were doing for a living, the life that you were living in general, was very different from sort of what the nature of your existence is now. And so if this person knows of your backstory, maybe that's even part of sort of what your focus is at this point, is like a way shower, a teacher, a guide. They are very inspired by that story. They're very inspired by the progression of this. It's encouraging them, it feels like, to look at themselves, their journey, where they've kind of settled in life, where they could be challenging themselves more. It's calling all of that into question. Or again, this might be somebody who's kind of in the process currently of going through some sort of change, some sort of up-leveling, some sort of ascension. And so you represent almost like this beacon of hope in the darkness, that all will be well on the other side of that process of change and transformation for themselves. This person may also be seeing and sensing that kind of, you could have been somebody, if they knew you in the past, you might have been very, very open, somebody who really could have been taken advantage of a lot by other people emotionally. You could have been kind of a people pleaser, a codependent, and they're seeing in some way you're either working to change that, or you have changed that very profoundly. The energy exchange between you and other individuals, maybe this is even somebody that you've cut off altogether. There's silence, where once there was kind of just an open door policy with this person, or even someone that might have left you waiting, left you hanging, and just assumed that you would be there whenever they decided to come back around. They treated you like an option, or overlooked you the first time around, and are starting to maybe notice it's not so easy to access you. It's not so easy to kind of get that energy exchange between the two of you. It's maybe somebody that has attempted to reach out to no avail. They may have had to really seek you out or do some research in order to be able to find you. It may have been a long time since you last connected with this person. Things in your life may be very different, or the ways in which you, if this is somebody that you still kind of deal with or you're still talking to, the ways in which you deal with them is different than you were dealing with them before. And so it's almost like the boundaries that have been put in place as your level of self-respect has increased, as the way in which you're prioritizing where your emotional energy is invested, kind of drawing a new sort of line in the sand as far as only high vibrational and kind of mutual and reciprocal exchanges are top priority. Not a whole lot of time for frivolity or things of like a lower vibrational or like a petty or an uncertain nature. All of that, which may include kind of them being pushed to the sidelines, or an access point that they once might have had to you being sort of eliminated or shut down in a way. It feels like it has really sort of given this person a new perspective about you that they are finding very attractive, but it's also something that, again, it's very inspiring on like a spiritual and an energetic level. This is almost somebody that may have really underestimated you before, just took your kindness for weakness, looked at you as a pushover, again, like a people pleaser or a codependent. And so anything that you've really worked to sort of unravel that narrative and rewrite a different sort of story for yourself, present yourself as something different, it's made an impact upon this person. It's made an impression in the way that almost silence speaks volumes in this situation. It's something about your energy that radiates a level of self-awareness and confidence that it feels like was lacking before, or it's reflective maybe even of some kind of greater purpose that you're working towards, some sort of motivation that you have to really understand the nature of your own sort of shadow or toxicity within yourself, kind of lower vibrational behaviors and belief systems or tendencies, and that you've been very proactive to kind of work on these things, rewrite that programming in a way, and that it's come across as very effective in their mind. If this is somebody that isn't even like from your past, that they're just sort of present in your current narrative in some way, again, maybe some of you, this is part of kind of what you focus on, maybe things you post on social media, or something that now involves kind of the nature of the work that you do, maybe even things that you just do to kind of give back to others. That could involve sort of taking those bits and pieces of your past, of your kind of personal narrative, and sharing your experience, sharing your story as a way to kind of encourage others, or to be that sort of guiding light. This person finds that whole process of becoming very attractive, very, very encouraging, very inspiring. It feels that there's elements of romance that are in this, but this is almost somebody who's more at this point in time, and it may have to do with kind of like dark night of the soul, where they're at in their particular stage of their journey. This is almost the sense of they could see themselves aligning with somebody like you, potentially romantically, on the other side of their own process of transformation, or you've given them a lot of food for thought about ways in their life in which they've kind of settled or have not necessarily risen to challenges within themselves, or where they're looking around at like relationships that they have, relationships they've had in the past where they could do better. They could do better for themselves. They could do better in terms of who they allow into their energy, who they allow into their life. And so it feels like the primary sort of level that compels them at this point in time is something spiritual within you. But there are these overtones of like soulmate energy. So it might even be something where you've inspired or you've stimulated like an awakening or an ascension or an up-leveling in this person, or you're that kind of light at the end of the tunnel on the other side of like a process they may be involved in, or kind of invited to sort of step into or become more proactive or serious about. So let's get some messages from this person's higher self, and then I'll close the reading out with some initials. Okay, and they say, I'm working hard on myself. So that can be a confirmation of somebody who's also going through like a dark night of the soul. They're ascending, they're on a spiritual path, on a spiritual journey. And there's an essence of on the other side of some internal work, personal work, shadow work that they need to do, that they see you as somebody who would align with kind of the type of person or the vibration of person that matches sort of who they anticipate that they will become, who they are striving to sort of become. If this is somebody that you had dealings with in the past, platonic or romantic, there is a sense of your living example has inspired this person to start to do the work or to continue to do the work that maybe they had put off before or they'd avoided before as well. They also say you are amazing. So again, there's this energy of like an inspiration here. Who you are as a person may really amaze them. Who you have become amazes them. If this is someone that was part of that backstory or knows in some way of kind of like where you've come from and then kind of where you're at the present or what it is you're focusing on towards the future, all of this really sort of excites them about in terms of like what's possible for themselves as well. Where have they settled? Where have they kind of taken the easy route or shortcuts, where hard work and kind of getting in there and facing themselves and being very honest with themselves, almost like tough love towards self, is really the solution or the route. It feels like that they are looking towards you as the living example is the best path towards some level of like self-acceptance, success within self, almost an abundance of spiritual energy that may even reflect in terms of like abundance you've cultivated or are cultivating for yourself materially as well. And they also say, I'm ascending. So another confirmation of somebody that themselves might be on the ascension path now, going through the dark night of the soul, is starting to focus on spirituality or becoming a little more engaged with that, a little more serious about that. There may even be motivation to start to put in the work or to continue to do the work within themselves, either to resurface in your life if it's someone from the past, or to be able to kind of meet you at your level if it's somebody that currently is sort of aware of you, is on the peripheral of your life, or in some way, is influenced or kind of inspired by you in some way, wanting to approach you on kind of equal ground. And they also say, seeing you makes my day. So there's a sense of, if it's someone from the past, they're very excited about the changes that they've seen in you. And if you ended on not such good terms, this is somebody that it feels like sees you from a new perspective, wishes you the best, wishes you well, and is very happy for the success that you've created for yourself in life, spiritually, kind of emotionally, wherever you were at before versus where you're at now. They're seeing that as a very positive change, that not only is something that they're happy for you, but it's inspiring them to start to make that change for themselves. If it's somebody that you don't have previous dealings with, they're kind of just part of the current timeline, then again there's a sense of you give them hope, you give them inspiration that they can get through whatever difficulties they're facing or things that they need to start doing within themselves that they might have been a little bit afraid or hesitant to start doing. There's a sense of like, if you can do it, I can do it. Anything's possible. And we also have, I never expected to fall in love with you so quickly. So past person that might have been sort of on the fence about their feelings, it feels like everything has changed. They see you from a fresh perspective, and it's almost like, if I'd known then what I know now, I would have made different choices kind of energy. This could have been someone in the past that was kind of triggered or catalyzed into the realm of spiritual awakening. Something opened within the heart space. Maybe you chose to lean into that. They chose to run from that. You're further ahead now. You've gone through the journey, and they're kind of just awakening or reawakening, just sort of what they could have had if they'd done the work, and sort of leaned into that space emotionally with you, or this can even be something where now they're motivated to do that work for themselves, or in some effort to try and match your frequency. If this is someone that's just part of the current timeline and reality, that has nothing to do with your past, and it feels like you may have even opened this person's heart, you could have stirred or stimulated some sort of heart chakra activation, awakening or reawakening, that could have also kick-started like a dark night of the soul, things that they're needing to sort of sift through and release within themselves emotionally to be able to come towards you with sort of a clear energy, something where there is not leading with fear, there's not like a predominant predominance of fear of getting hurt or like wounds of the past. But it feels to be somebody that's kind of proactively doing the work to make sure that if they approach you romantically, because they're seeing you in this kind of like high vibe, powerful energy, you know who you are, you won't settle for less than you deserve. This is someone that really kind of understands that they cannot come to you in a wishy-washy way. They need to come through with kind of consistency, with confidence within self, with a willingness to be sort of open and vulnerable that it feels like matches a frequency of what you're putting out directly or indirectly in terms of like a requirement or an expectation for who you'll sort of exchange with, who would be kind of that proper vibrational match. This is someone who's very motivated, very excited to kind of continue to ascend to sort of reach that level. And they also say your laugh is amazing. So something about your smile, something about your laugh, it feels to be music to their ears. It's something that really, it feels like the way in which you move with grace or still have a smile on your face after what you've been through. If they know about the backstory or kind of your journey up to this point in time, or even someone that was like from the past and they're seeing you now, and the fact that you're still standing, you're looking good, you're shining bright. You have some kind of perspective. You've either gained that or you still sort of have a light or a joy about you that has not been able to be diminished no matter what you've been through. All of that is something which is really compelling and inspiring, whether it's like current person or past person. This can even be the essence here, kind of with both those narratives coming in, that there might even be like two secret admirers, past person, present person, both sort of looking at you with the eyes of inspiration or almost the sense of like you're a high valued person. You value yourself and you bring a lot of value to whoever you'd exchange with, emotionally speaking. So whatever it is that you're like focused on or that you've cultivated or that you've done within yourself in terms of personal growth and ascension and everything like that, you're radiating a beacon, it feels like, that is perhaps drawing in a lot of admirers and people really looking towards that in a very positive way. So these initials can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got K, Y, L, C, X, R, H, Q, B, M, B, Z, N, W, D, A, I, and F. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. We chose the Amazonite heart. So let's see, what qualities does your secret admirer find to be the most compelling about you? Okay, we have establishing emotional boundaries, awareness of cosmic influences, the Shekinah, sacred self, unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life, Charity, prayer and contemplation. Connect with heaven. Ask and you shall receive. Star Child and karmic clearing. So there's a sense here of an etheric, otherworldly sort of energy about you that almost reminds them of like a fantasy come true, something very mystical, something very not of this world in a compelling way. This can be somebody that you share a past life connection with, somebody that is kind of aligned with some sort of destiny that you've been working toward over the course of this lifetime or many lifetimes prior to this. This could be somebody that is very open and aware of sort of spirituality, aligns with ideas about like past life connections, might have even seen you in visions, dreams, meditations, perhaps even since they were young or since they were a child or since they became very kind of involved in spirituality, since they had some sort of spiritual awakening. And it's almost like here you are, that person in the flesh, to where it feels like they are at once kind of activated by you and you provide some sort of reassurance for them that maybe their journey has not been in vain, or things that they'd really questioned as far as the nature of what they were seeing or what they were sensing spiritually. It just all makes sense, or the pieces just sort of fit together, or this person's putting all those pieces together through coming into contact with you, through becoming aware of you, through sort of being in this place where they're like a secret admirer with, eyes on you, energy on you, focused on you. It may be somebody that you could be energetically aware of, sort of somebody on the radar, somebody in your presence or on your peripheral. There could be some degree of like surface level contact between the two of you at this point, but it feels like this is somebody that you have either sparked or instigated some kind of process of up-leveling, even before having exchanged words with one another. So this feels like somebody that's aware enough of energies or kind of where they're at in their own journey to sort of know what's happening, that there's a shift, there's an up-leveling happening, things are clearing out to almost like prepare the energetic space for what it feels to be a compelling urge to move towards you, like the essence of who you are, the energy of who you are as a soul resonates with them, or it just makes sense. There's something within them that sort of lets them know that you're kind of aligned with the path that they've been walking. So it feels to be something that goes beyond just the surface level. Something on a higher vibrational plane or plateau is kind of the thing that is really magnetizing them towards you. There's a sense here of your energy provides, again, a lot of answers, a lot of reassurance, or something that brings almost like a sense of peace and calm through the release of almost like subtle energetic blocks that they hadn't even known had existed. Things that they might have been working toward to heal within themselves, to kind of work beyond or to accept within themselves. There's almost a sense of coming into contact with you energetically, seeing you for the first time, hearing you speak for the first time, becoming aware of your presence for the first time has suddenly calmed or quieted a lot of noise or chaos within this person. Not in a way that it feels like relates to kind of a codependent energy, but there's almost something that it feels like has shifted, has silenced, and yet has become very expansive and very attuned within them. This is almost somebody whose like instinct is focused on you. You've awakened or kind of helped to make sense out of something that might have just been kind of running in the background of who they are, that's now sort of brought to the forefront. It somehow makes sense. Whatever is to unfold between the two of you, it feels like it compels them along this degree of they've trusted in their path up to this point in time, and now they've been presented with the reality of you, either this person from dreams or visions or downloads. Here you are as like a real person, not just a product of the mind, not just wishful thinking, but like in the flesh. or you represent, energetically speaking, that proper match, that equivalent alignment for whatever it is they've been working to cultivate within themselves. And then there's kind of this element as well, with prayer and contemplation, that you are the type of person that they've prayed for, that they've wished for, that they've hoped for, efforts that they've made to sort of improve themselves, improve their life, lean into their spiritual path, whatever they know of you or are able to kind of glean from you or interpret, energetically speaking, about you. There's a sense of it makes sense. This isn't like complementary opposites. This is almost like attracts like, and so it feels like it's a very different feeling within them. You radiate a different sort of sense of comfort to them than previous relationships had. It feels like something as well that there's an essence about you, or when they are kind of viewing you or thinking about you, it helps to kind of release or almost put to rest kind of other karmic connections that they've been dealing with, wounds from sort of karmic experiences or karmic lessons that they had in life, that may have left kind of like scars on them, or like a guardedness within the heart, or even within their energy field. There's almost the essence of like none of that matters anymore. They're able to kind of release and transcend that because there's something within, there's something from the higher self, that speaks to this person that says, all of that sort of pain and misery and suffering and the work that needed to be done up to this point in time, it was all in preparation for like this juncture in their life, this experience of you, this other person, and then whatever they sort of, it feels like are guided to take as far as further steps. This feels to be somebody that doesn't just have kind of an emotional attraction, there's like a spiritual attraction. There's almost the sense of like, you fit so perfectly with kind of that best version, or like the highest version of self, efforts that they've made to kind of embody their higher self. And here is kind of the equivalent manifestation of that in another person. So again, this can be somebody who's deeply spiritual, deeply kind of immersed in, or have themselves sort of become the essence of their spiritual path. And they're seeing or sensing that similar vibration within you, that it's almost an essence of compelled from like a top down sort of level, compelled to you very much in a spiritual sense. And then of course, finding kind of things on the emotional level, or what they're able to sort of see and decipher and pick up about you, physically in terms of those qualities. It's like it all matches up with sort of what they want and what they need. What they have now sort of discovered through their process of work within them is kind of truly good for them, not what resonates with wounds, but what resonates with like the healed version of them. You represent that, or you carry or hold that essence of vibration. If there's still, a lot that they need to get to know about you, could be somebody that observes you on social media, or just sort of sees you out and about. It doesn't feel like there's necessarily been a whole lot of direct exchange between the two of you. So a lot of this just may be, like literally somebody who's just feeling into the energy, knowing that there needs to kind of be a foundational basis that is created through like an exchange of speaking with one another, spending time with one another. This feels to be somebody that's mature and evolved enough on their path that they're not just falling head over heels without, taking the time to like get to know you. This isn't like an obsession energy, but it's something within kind of the auric field within this person that just sort of responds in a very acute and precise manner to who you are, to what it is that you hold within you, or again, that sense of like a soul familiarity, a past life connection that is not reflective of like karmic past life connections they might have experienced. There's something that's almost like, this is that next level. This is that higher level soulmate I have wanted. This is that kind of kindred spirit vibration that aligns very precisely with sort of the vibration that I've cultivated and that I work to maintain on a regular basis, on a constant basis within myself. They're seeing that within you. So let's get some messages from this person's higher self, and then I'll close the reading out with some initials. Okay, and we have I need to see you. So this is again somebody who it feels like watches you very intently from afar, or even just energetically speaking, kind of sits within your energy. By going into their own energy, they in some way connect with your energy. So this doesn't feel like anyone that's sort of deliberately needing to kind of go out of their way to astral travel or kind of be very encroaching in that sense. It's almost just when they're connecting with themselves, they feel you within that vibration. Your presence is now recognizable to them because you've crossed paths with one another. It's now like the time in both of your individual stories for this story between the two of you to now unfold or to begin. And it's something that this person is very consciously aware of without sort of meaning to seek you out. There you are within the energy. And so there's an essence of curiosity, a compulsion to, dive in deeper to that, an enthusiasm that it feels like is building within them to sort of take this sense of knowing from the higher, the energetic realms and bring that forth into kind of manifest reality in the form of conversation, introducing themselves, presenting themselves materially to you. We've also got past life regression. So there's that very direct confirmation that this might be somebody who has seen you in a vision, seen you in a dream, had a past life regression, and you were in that. Energetically speaking, the essence of you, maybe even kind of like literally they have seen you before, and then here you are, a flesh and blood person that might really again have stirred something, provided some sort of confirmation within them that whatever sort of the impact or the significance of however they've come into contact with you prior to this point in time, it all sort of makes sense. The steps that they then took in their life to lead them to this point where now they've encountered the reality of you. This can also then confirm, that this is someone very spiritual who you may feel familiar to them. You may feel like home, the familiar stranger almost, somebody that they feel that they have some kind of soul connection with, past life connection with, and it feels like there's an encouragement with this rather than being just kind of another karmic lesson, a past life energy with an individual that is meant to just sort of close out a cycle. There's a sense of almost like through whatever other cycles they've closed out in themselves, work they've done to kind of clear patterns, or even other past life soulmates that they've had the unfinished business with and they finished all that up. There's a sense of you are something different. This is a different kind of energy. It's a different kind of story. It's something that is not just a seasonal connection, not just a lesson, but it's almost that kind of the one that they've been working towards, the one that they have been hoping to find, the one that kind of resonates with sort of the essence of love and acceptance and self-respect that they've germinated within them. They're seeing and sensing that vibration within you. And they also say, I want you to enjoy your life. So this is somebody who is very mindful about not bringing chaos or uncertainty into your reality, into your existence, because it feels like they have worked very hard to kind of clear out those energies from themselves. So it may even be something that the nature of the impact of kind of encountering you, if it's something where they've dreamed of you, they've seen you in the visions and downloads, they've had a past life regression, and your essence, your energy, or literally kind of visions of you have come forth. There's a sense of this person taking time to stabilize and ground themselves before they present to you, because they don't necessarily want to lead from that angle. It feels like somebody that would inevitably kind of bring that up, or bring up the idea of like a past life connection, soul connection, be very open about their spirituality, but there's a sense of almost like not wanting to disrupt your life, not wanting to confuse you or alarm you in any sort of way. So it feels like they're really taking the time to kind of process everything, to clear out whatever sort of blocks or lingering kind of energies, anything that's been sort of stirred up within, any fears and sort of associated with that, or even just kind of stilling themselves out of a sense of like overwhelming anticipation to something that's a little more manageable, so that they present in a way that is kind of inviting and enticing and feels right to you energetically, and actually, as opposed to coming in a very chaotic energy, which it feels like they're sensing might kind of derail or even undermine an opportunity that they have to explore this sense of deep resonance in a material way. They also say you are amazing. So they're amazed at your existence. They're amazed at the energy that you hold, who you are, kind of whatever it is that they know about you or they're able to see or sense about you. It amazes them that they have found somebody or that they've encountered somebody that aligns with them on this like higher spiritual level. It feels like somebody who has really been seeking that spiritual connection, maybe even sort of closing themselves off to romance, just focusing on spirituality, focusing on kind of doing the work within themselves. And now they have sort of encountered somebody that is of that like frequency, a connection that essentially starts from the top and kind of builds its way down into something in a material sense. So they're very much enthralled by the experience that they are having, by what it is they're feeling, confirmations, signs from spirit that they might be getting, anything that they're doing to kind of explore this further, or even sort of feel into themselves, be quiet within themselves and listen to that internal guidance as far as like, what do I do now at this point? I have found or have been shown, or we have aligned with one another in this particular manner. Now what do I do? What's the next step forward from this point, so that it's not just kind of a one-off situation, but it feels like this is somebody who is very kind of intent on exploring the full possibility and potential, and trying to open themselves up as much as possible to the idea of something that could become long-term between the two of you, but then obviously starting from the first step, which is introducing themselves and kind of building from there. And they also say, I somehow trust you. So again, there's this sense of familiarity that you feel like home, the vibe that you put out, or whatever it is that they sort of like know or see or have been able to kind of pick up or learn about you at this point in time. It aligns so deeply with who they are, what it is that they're focused on, sort of the path that they have taken to reach this very present moment in time. There's a sense of being very much within a flow state, allowing themselves to kind of surrender to and be pulled into and immersed in kind of this strange, otherworldly, unconventional, very unexpected and yet amazing experience that they have of resonating with you energetically in this profound way. And so it feels to be something that they're trusting in this process. They're trusting in kind of whatever their instinct or their higher self is telling them to do at this point, as far as like next steps forward, trusting that kind of to explore this rather than to just observe it and let the opportunity pass by, but to take steps to explore this. There's a trust that like, I'm ready for this. This has come at the right time in my life. I'm ready to kind of experience and to explore the potential of like a higher level love. And they also say, the thought of you drives me crazy. So again, this is something where you have made a big impact upon this person. They are devoting a lot of time and energy to trying to understand this situation, trying to understand these energies that they are feeling with you. You may sense this person within your energy, and there could be a lot of exchange in that capacity without sort of physically meeting yet. So there could be a lot of kind of exchange in that capacity where you both sort of know something big is on the horizon, something's getting ready to unfold. And if you're feeling that, this is that confirmation that they are feeling that as well, very consciously. This is not like a higher self version of somebody you're connecting with. This is like a 3D version and a 3D version of two people very much embodying their higher selves, who have kind of come to this place, this juncture in time where it's almost ready. It's the time both people are kind of ready for that higher level soul connection experience to unfold. And it's something that having to hold themselves back or wait or kind of ground themselves or settle themselves to approach in kind of a practical manner, it feels like something that it's taking a lot of self-restraint on their part, because there's an excitement, there's a curiosity, there's this urge to get to know you, to become part of your life, of your world, of your reality, to allow you to get to know them, to open themselves up to you and to explore kind of the deeper meaning and what's possible between the two of you, that they're already sensing fits and aligns very, very deeply and very nicely with kind of wherever else they're at in their life and along their spiritual path. So these initials can be a first, middle, or last name, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got W, U, O, E, F, G, P, U, X, Z, R, M, G, P, W, B, Q, O, L, and A. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.